During this lesson you will be required to fill out a worksheet. I recommend you read through the worksheet before viewing the lesson. In order to give you time to do this, you can use the pause button at the bottom of the screen. Learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to state the height regulations of a chimney stack within 600 mm of a ridge using a sketch. State the height regulations of a chimney stack not within 600 mm of a ridge using a sketch. State what home bond recommend when building chimney stacks. List 3 methods of finishing off a chimney stack using a sketch to illustrate your answer. List the 5 types of lead used in a chimney stack using a sketch to illustrate your answer. Stack height regulations. If the flue is within 600 mm of the ridge, it must be at least 600 mm above the ridge. If the flue is more than 600 mm away from the ridge, then it should project at least 1 metre up from the roof at the highest point of exit. Home Bond recommend that all flues should project above ridge level to ensure adequate draw. Questions. Using a sketch, state the height regulations for a chimney stack within 600 mm of a ridge. Using a sketch, state the height regulations of a chimney stack not within 600 mm of a ridge. State what Home Bond recommend when building chimney stacks. 3 methods of finishing a chimney stack. The first one there is using a precast concrete capping, which is flat, and then flanging on top of it. Note, the concrete capping has a throat drip underneath on the underside of it. The second one there is brick oversailing capping. So we have 3 oversailing courses with flanging then on top of that. The third one is a brick corbel capping, so we just have 1 course of bricks corbelled out, and we have flanging on the top of that. The flue plot should project between 300 and 350 mm above the top of the stack. This will allow for a minimum 200 mm of visible flue and approximately 100 mm of flanging. of flue showing and approximately 100 mm of flanging. Questions. List 3 methods of finishing off a chimney stack and use a sketch to illustrate your answer. Chimney stack lead details. There are 5 lead details that we're going to go through in this diagram. The first one is the horizontal lead tray. This is built into the stack and it has 3 upstands, 1 on either side and 1 at the back. The second one is the apron flashing. This is at the front of the stack. The third one are the soakers. These are on either side of the stack and are placed underneath the slates or the tiles. placed underneath the slates or the tiles on either side of the stack, and then they project up the face of either side of the stack. The next one there, number 4, is the back gutter flashing, and this is at the back of the stack. This must be supported by a timber fillet underneath the flashing in a small triangular shape there. The last one then is the stepped flashing. Stepped flashing is only used on brick chimneys, and it's built into the stack, into the joints between the bricks, either as the stack is being constructed, or else the joints can be raked out and the flashing can be built in afterwards. Here we can see an isometric view of the chimney stack lead detail. So we can see in bright green there we have the horizontal lead tray, and this is positioned 150 millimeters above the lowest point of where the stack exits the roof. 150 millimeters above the lowest point of where the stack exits the roof. The next one then is the apron flashing, which is at the front of the stack, and this projects 150 millimeters down onto the slate from the face of the stack. Next, there we have the soakers, and these are fitted on each side. These are fitted on top of each slate and under the flashings, projecting 150 millimeters from the side of the stack on either side. So they project underneath on top of the slate, and they go up the face of the stack also on either side. The next one we have there is the back gutter flashing. This is at the higher point of the stack, at the back, higher level of the roof, at the back of the stack. The last one then is the stepped lead flashing, which is raked at the same pitch as the roof. So we have the soakers going up the side of the stack, and then the stepped flashing comes out of the joint and down over the soakers. Here's an example of a lead detail on a chimney stack and a parapet wall. So we'd have the soakers on top of each slate or tile here, and then projecting up the face of the parapet wall or up the face of the stack. Then we have our stepped flashing, which is built into the joint here, comes out of the joint and down the face of the wall on top of the soaker. We can also see here the back gutter flashing at the back of the chimney, and you can see the apron flashing projecting out the front of the chimney stack down onto the tiles or the slates. Questions. List the 5 types of lead used in a chimney stack and use a sketch to illustrate your answer. In conclusion, a chimney stack within 600 millimeters of a ridge should be at least 600 millimeters above the ridge. A chimney stack not within 600 millimeters of a ridge should project at least 1 meter from the roof. So it should project up at least 1 meter from the roof. HomeBond recommend that all chimney stacks should project above the ridge level. Three methods of finishing off a chimney stack are precast concrete capping, brick over sailing course, or brick corbel course. The 5 types of lead used in the chimney stack are the horizontal lead tray, the apron flashing at the front of the stack, the soakers on either side of the stack, backgutter flashing at the back of the stack, and the step flashing which come out of the joints of the brickwork and down over the soakers on either side of the flashing, on either side of the stack.